What's going on YouTube and y'all squad? This is your boy Yakatees, and this is your review for The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Now look, a lot happened here. I got triggered by some of the best. So rather than really talk about stuff that don't matter, I normally do breeze through a lot of stuff, but I'm really going to breeze through a lot of this so we can get to the end because we need to talk. It's going to be some conversation. It's going to bleed over into the next episode, and I would love to know how you guys feel. So, we start off with Crystal. The girls are at her house. We find out that Kathy Hilton was on the reel with Garcelle. Garcelle lets her know I did not receive an invite to the wedding nor the reception. I got an invitation to the engagement party. So that's supposed to be fixed. Sutton is in Austin, and she's not going to La Quinta with them. She'll be there, but just not going with them. Cal is opening up a new store. Dorit left Cal a voicemail because she was going through it and whatnot. We hear the voicemail. It is what it is. I stand by what I said, but apparently she's having panic attacks. Cal brings up the conversation she had with Sutton because, again, she does not have a storyline, and this is something that she needs to put out there. And let me be very, very clear, because, what really should have happened is first and foremost, Cal should have addressed that in the moment, one. But, okay, she was in quote-unquote shock. But when she finally decided to have a conversation, after having it with her, she should, if it really was that big of a deal, rather than bring it to the group, how about you just put her and Dorit in a room and let that conversation happen rather than it being a spectacle. Nevertheless, Garcelle feels that they should bring up this conversation when Sutton is in the room because she is not there to defend herself. Now, Garcelle is wearing her cape to defend her friend. I do feel that next week it might get to a point to where you're caping so hard that you're doing too much, but I'm going to reserve that until next week. We got Kyle. She said she opened up multiple stores because I was actually gonna say something, but she said it first, so I can't get it too much. Had multiple stores. The retail industry was good, then it crashed, and she had to close down the store. So she's opened up just this one in the area to where the real estate is not high, meaning that she can keep the store open without having to pay a whole lot of property bills and whatnot. And hopefully this is in a good area, whatever. Garcelle, okay, I'm gonna just skip past it. She got her little butterfly thing for emotional spiritual protection. Erica, she used to be able to sell her wardrobe to buy new stuff, but she can't anymore. Nobody cares. Let me see. We get Kyle. She's at the La Quinta house. Dorit did not ride with her because she was supposed to because she was having chest pains. All right. So the girls are in the process of coming, to La Quinta. We find out that Diana doesn't shop. Designers send her stuff. She picks out what she wants, sends the rest back, and then she pays whatever it is. So she doesn't shop. Cool. Crystal says she shops retail, which I can appreciate her being honest with. Yeah, her husband got that Lion King money, but hey, she ain't trying to sit here and, spend up all his money. Okay, I appreciate it. So we find out that Diana, Crystal, and Sutton are all in a hotel together, which I was kind of like, Now, I can see why Diana is there because Diana has her own way of living, so she probably opted for that. With Sutton being there, I would think Garcelle would have been there with her. And Crystal, I mean, she's the odd woman out, so whatever. So Diana says she sends her team before her to pretty much ensure that it fits, her standards and lifestyle. And most celebrities in general tend to do that, send their team ahead to make sure that everything is good. So when they get there, they only got to focus on the task at hand and not nothing else. Understandable. Dorit is no longer has the quote unquote joy of styling herself. Crystal downloads Sutton on the conversation that was had. I appreciate Crystal for doing it because if Crystal didn't do it, we know Garcelle was going to do it. Sutton shares, that what the burglary situation, she was sleeping. Her mother had, I guess, pretty much walked to the hallway, saw a man outside of Sutton's door, and then Sutton heard her mother yelling to her father, saying, "Grab the gun." And this is something that she's always going to hear in the back of her mind. So she knows, she's sharing, this thing is very, very touchy for me. And when things such as burglary and guns come up, I tend to, talk without speaking. I get very awkward. And there are people where when they're in an uncomfortable situation, some people just speak without thinking. Some people laugh, because they don't know what to say. It is natural. It is understandable. So, again, I'm not going to give her too much. So we're at Cal's store. Cal did this last minute. I'm pretty sure this was just so she could have for the show. Diana doesn't know how to shop in a store. Sutton apologized to Dorit, which to me came off as being very sincere. Diana is going to spot Crystal because Crystal didn't come with the car, but again, Crystal husband got money, so that can be repaid. Erica wants Diana to pretty much buy her a ring. It ain't no I'm gonna get you back because she broke. Sutton plays like she's stabbing Cal in the back after apologizing to Dorit, and Cal says, "Oh, well, I don't stab people in the back. I do it to their faces." And I look like, I know you lying. I know you lying. Really? You do stuff to people's faces, but it's a lot of conversations that happen, and you don't say it to people's faces, especially if you feel intimidated by them. I'm gonna come back to it because something else was said, and I'm just like, Cal, I already don't like Cal. I really don't, Kyle. But we gonna get back to it. All right. So the ladies are back at the house, and this is when things get tense. And I know I talk fast. Part of that is, me having a background as an air traffic controller, but I want to really get to this. So the girls talk about having babies, don't care. Kyle's dog Bambi ate Lisa's steak and literally was going through the house eating food off the counter and everything. Like, okay, hey, it is what it is. Bambi said, I'm going to eat this good food. It ain't going to waste. Garcelle says, hey, let's talk about Sutton. Since Sutton is here, Garcelle is here to pop it off. I'm here for it. Kyle says, well, I said everything to Sutton's face. And this is when I'm like, but you only said it to her face because you see her as being weak. Because again, all that ish you said about Erica, but you never said it to Erica's face because, of course, you're scared of what Erica is going to say to you in the moment and possibly do to you because you don't want that smoke with Erica. And when the reunion came, you had no choice but to sit here and sit in it and eat whatever was coming your way. So again, Kyle knows who to pull that with. She does. And it's even a moment that I'm going to get to where she sat here and, like some bass got put in her voice when she was talking to Crystal because, again, I don't think that she feels that Crystal is weak, though part of me does. But she's the woman at the bottom of the totem pole, so you can do that. But we're gonna get there. Sun says she apologized and is as genuine as she can be. Cal says, I know. Again, now, like I said, Cal has to have a storyline. Here it is. This is her storyline. Dorit pretty much felt like, okay, well, the apology that I got from Sutton was, sincere. And Sutton says she should have not put herself first over Dorit's problems. She says she didn't know her state of mind. And all of them are kind of looking at her crazy. And then that's when she said, when her father sent himself to glory, she did not want to be bothered with people. And she shut people out. So pretty much for her, since that's how I felt, she pretty much felt maybe that's how Dorit feels. And then she also knows that Dorit is in essence stunts and shows. But if people were to come over, she's going to sit here and put out the platters and everything else and make it about them when it really needs to be about her. Totally understandable. But again, when people here to respond and not listen to understand, we end up in situations like this because if Kyle really would have dug just a little bit deeper, she would have understood this and we wouldn't even be here. But again, we're shooting the show. So then Diana says she doesn't know Sutton. Now, I do realize that you can watch a person for a little bit of time and be able to, come to a conclusion. It may not be a full thought out conclusion, but you can discern certain things. But she says, I don't know Sutton, but she feels as if she is clumsy with her words and behavior. Erica says, yup. Diana then says she comes off as weird and wrong and hurts people. And then says she does have a redeeming quality of it appearing that she's working on herself and apologizing. But my thing is, a lot of this for me seems as if this is what Lisa told you. And rather than this being something that you truly analyze from her, you're going off of what Lisa told you and you're holding that little Harry's birthday party thing as this real huge thing. And it's like, it ain't that deep. But okay, like I said, and Diana said, in the trailer, well, if you want me to be the villain, I'm the villain. So that she knows what her role is. She understands the assignment, obviously. Sutton says she loves to apologize, and And when she said, I love to apologize, that made me think of, dare I say her name? Why is her name not coming to mind? Is that a good thing? Um, the girl from Real Housewives of Ramona Singer. Ramona Singer is an habitual apologizer where she does something, apologize, and we know people like that where it's okay. Like if you realize you're wrong, it's okay to apologize. But when you're consistently apologizing, then you really have to ask yourself, like, okay, so are you just doing this to do it? Are you really not that aware of what it is that you're saying and doing that you have to consistently apologize? So that rubbed me a little bit the wrong way with Sutton. And she says, and I'm empathetic. And Cal says, no, you're not. And then Crystal says, there's a lot of hypocrisy. You can't tell someone how to feel. It's almost gaslighting. Kyle addresses Sutton. Crystal says, y'all policed my feelings and told me I was wrong for how I was feeling and tell me I was wrong about her, meaning Sutton's intentions. Which was all literally what happened. Now, we all can, say whether or not Crystal put 20 on 10 for the sake of the cameras and the storyline. We all can say that, but the reality is you really shouldn't invalidate somebody's feelings, whether or not you believe them to be true. Because, again, I'm one of those where if I want it, I'm going to give it. Because I don't want nobody invalidating my feelings. So if somebody says this and this is how you made me feel, like I said, it'd be like, okay, my intent was never to make you feel that way, but obviously I did. And, we go from there. It's not, well, that's not what I did. And, at least acknowledge the fact that, you know what, I see I see these are your feelings. I see that you're hurt. She never got that. Their whole thing is the word violate is too strong. Whether it's too strong or not, by definition, her using the word violate, she was well within her rights to do it. Now, what they implied by when she said the word violate in the situation is all on them. But anyway, here it is. Cal says she did not feel the word violate. She says she felt the word violate was too strong. And in this current situation, she feels that Sutton was rude for what she did. Crystal says, y'all asked me to give her the benefit of the doubt, but y'all are coming against her now. And she says pretty much by this, she is triggered. The way they were treating Crystal in this moment really had me triggered. And here's the thing. I'm going to be transparent. Maybe this is because even though Crystal rubbed me the wrong way towards the end of last season, as a person of color, I do understand how it is when you have people that do not look like you trying to tell you how to feel, how you should react, and pretty much have you work within a certain parameter. But the people that don't look like you can sit here and act any kind of way, and you're just supposed to sit there and accept it. Read between the lines. Doris says, you can't draw. Doris says she can't draw the correlation. Garcelle asked Kyle, okay, why didn't you just say F you Sutton? I can't believe you said that. And Kyle said pretty much, I did in a roundabout way. And that's the issue. Not in a roundabout way. It should just be you said directly. But here's the thing. You didn't say it in the moment because you were trying to sit here and have a dang on performance. Again, I swear, I tell you, I don't like Kyle. So, wait. No. So Garcelle says, we can agree it was insensitive. And Cal says with a tone, I was not wrong. I will not apologize. Now, Garcelle, baby. Didn't you say last season, I forget who it was, I think it was either Crystal or Lisa, how you said you will not let them talk to you any kind of way, so you gonna let Cal have a tone with you? Okay, Garcelle sees. Come on. Whew. Okay, that right there, I didn't agree with Garcelle. I'm just like, so you just gonna let her slide with that? All right. Sutton says, with Crystal, she learned to respect how one feels. And she feels that is important because when all that initially happened, it was just, you're overreacting. This is not what I did. This is what I was trying to do, rather than, okay, though that wasn't my intention, and though this is what I did, I can see from your vantage. Well, one, I understand. I can see your feelings. I understand your feelings, and from your vantage point, I can see how this went left. Simple. So now Erica needs to have her moment because again, Erica ain't got no storyline. Erica asks if she respected her feelings last year. Sutton says, I feel I did pretty good. And Erica asks, why? Because what everything you said has been misproven. Sutton says all she did was ask questions. Cal and Lisa, because again, Lisa's going to stay in Erica's corner, but Cal, trying to get back into good graces, said, you called her a liar. Sutton asks, do you feel good about how you treated me last year? And Erica says, yes. And then she says there is a pattern. Crystal, myself, Dorit. The common denominator, Sutton. With that, I really can't disagree. Because if you look at it that way, yes, she is a common denominator. Even though all three instances are different, but what she is saying is she tends to speak out of term, and here we are. Got it. Lisa says all of their feelings are valid, but we need to get back to Dorit because it's all about Dorit. So Dorit wants to know the correlation about what is upsetting Crystal. And Crystal says at this point, you know what? I'm done. They will never understand. And they won't. And this also reminds me of Garcelle from last year when Garcelle was trying to communicate how she felt, and it wasn't until Garcelle had a full-on breakdown. Because apparently, as an African American, or in Garcelle's case, a Haitian woman, because she was born in Haiti, so she's not Haitian American, but she's Haitian. But again, as a melanated person of color, y'all know what I mean. In order for y'all to understand her, she had to sit here and break down in front of y'all for y'all to understand. And it's almost like they want the same thing from Crystal, though Crystal did not fully have a breakdown, but she was close to it. But yeah, Chris says she's done. They will never understand her. Cal says she's too dramatic. Again, now Cal guns are blazing on her. So, like I said, Cal's going to make sure she has storyline. So now she got two people that she's pretty much gunning for. And Crystal says, you know what? I'm done. And it's sometimes like that, especially when you're trying to have a conversation with people. Now, one thing I'm going to say to Sutton and to Crystal, y'all need to learn how to talk to one person and ignore the fuck out of everybody else. Seriously. Where if you're talking to somebody else says something, ignore them. Keep it one-on-one, because when you start to entertain multiple people, that is when you get overwhelmed, especially when they know, oh, okay, we got them, so we can just sit here and keep bombarding them with questions. Trust me, I know. So Garcelle says her feelings can be applied. I'm sorry. She, because Kyle has said this is apples and oranges, and Garcelle said her feelings can be apples and oranges, but those are her feelings. Crystal says to Garcelle, it's because my feelings are irrelevant to them. Dorit says that's not true. Garcelle tells Dorit, you are not validating her feelings. Granted, you don't need someone to validate your feelings, but no one should be invalidating your feelings. You know what I'm saying? Dorit says she's trying to understand. Bull. Because she is literally sitting here explaining it. Again, they are not listening to her. They are just hearing her so they can have a response. And Crystal says, I am trying to explain it to you, and you're telling me I am wrong. She tells Dorit, you've been through a lot. I don't want to do this with you. I'm leaving. This is not a safe space. You will never validate someone's feelings unless you understand it. So one, I appreciate her disengaging, because I feel she should have disengaged a long time ago. But when she says to them, you will never validate someone's feelings unless you've been through it, that is a lot of people. Where it's the whole, unless I've been through it, I can't understand you tangent. Because Tamar did this on Braxton Family Values, where they were trying to talk to her. I believe it was either Tawanda or Trina, with the whole their marriages and infidelity and all that other stuff. And Tamar's whole thing is, well, I never went through it. And it's like, you don't necessarily have to go through it to empathize and kind of feel where this person is going, like what they're going through. And she said, well, in later season, it wasn't until I went through it that I understood it. That is pretty much what Crystal is saying. Diana, is getting up to leave because I guess it was too much for her. Cal then says, your feelings are invalidated. I think she meant to say validated, but again, they've been drinking, and I'm pretty sure she truly meant to say, I don't care about your feelings. Dorit says she didn't know she held on to this inside because y'all literally shut her down last season and she could not express it. Again, whether or not y'all believe that that is truly how she felt is up to you. Just like whether or not I feel as if Dorit actually, got stuck up the way that she did. Just is what it is. But, at least be able to understand and say what it is. Crystal says she's not being heard. And then leaves. And so the three women, Diana, Sutton, and Crystal, get in the van, drive off, and Diana kind of wants to know what it is, and Crystal pretty much said, like, so the situation happened. I have dealt with an eating disorder, so for someone to see me, it put me in this headspace, but they're not trying to listen, they're not trying to understand me. And what is so funny is, we go back to the other girls, Erica said, let her feel how she feels. Hear her out. I circled that in my notes because y'all weren't, technically y'all were hearing her. Y'all weren't listening to her. And she literally just gave y'all, like she literally just talked about it, but y'all weren't receptive. And then she says, don't judge her in the moment. And I said back before they all, it clicked in them too, just like, is Erica having a grown woman moment right now? And they all pretty much saw that she did. Do I have anything else in my notes? That was it. That wore me out. That really did. And I don't know how I'm going to feel about next episode until we get there. So, yeah. That is my review. Depending, I'm pretty sure tomorrow you'll get the Love and Marriages. Then Monday you'll get Atlanta. And then Tuesday morning you'll get Basketball Wives. And again, let's pray that my internet and my connection and everything, my technology works so we can have the panel here at my Citadel, my place, and I will meet you all there. So with that being said, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share, and I will see you all for the next video. Peace.